Last October, in the quiet Mississippi town of Pascagoula, two local men confronted authorities with a rather bizarre story. Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker told of a strange craft landing near their fishing site and of being taken aboard by three unearthly creatures. The two men were questioned under hypnosis and lie detectors, but their story remained intact. One of the men suffered a nervous breakdown and is still under treatment. Among the skeptics were Ralph and Judy Blum, already at work on a UFO book. With W.5 last week, Ralph and Judy returned to Pascagoula.
Judy and I stumbled into this book. Came to us to be written. Suddenly we were in a wave of waves. UFOs were being seen across the country again. We were in what they call a flap. And people began experiencing things that they couldn't explain. Something was happening in our skies in the midst of Watergate, Agnew, the energy crisis, the Middle East. Something was happening and people couldn't understand what it was.
Covina, California, 1963. In this small farming town on the outskirts of Los Angeles, 17-year-old Linda Porter awakens to find herself aboard a strange craft. From what she is able to recall later under hypnosis, a small creature that appeared to be a gray alien led her towards a light-filled room, where she encountered another type of being. One much taller. The features of a praying mantis.
Very standalone, very odd case. The fact that this occurred in 1963 is very intriguing because it's before the abduction phenomenon became popularized.
Rumors of aliens invading Miami are going viral on social media.
For real, folks, the conspiracy theory stems from a large police presence at Bayside Marketplace on New Year's Day.
Take a good look at your screen. Are those aliens walking in front of Bayside Marketplace in downtown Miami? Online conspiracy theorists are saying that shadowy figure, not far from parked Miami police cars, appears to be an alien.
standalone, very odd case. The fact that this occurred in 1963 is very intriguing because it's before the abduction phenomenon became popularized.
There have been depictions throughout various abduction scenarios that include the gray aliens and this larger, tall insectoid being. Very praying mantis-like.
Retired Navy pilot Lieutenant Ryan Graves is here in our studio right now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you also for your service.
Thank you.
10 years in the military. You say that the summer of 2014 to March 2015, during training missions off the East Coast, you and other pilots began detecting strange objects. How do you describe those encounters?
Yeah, we describe those encounters as identifying an unknown object in our airspace, and we do that through a number of different tools that we have available to us. When we first had this issue in 2014, we had just upgraded our radar system, and that's really our primary tool that we use to look out and see objects in our area. And when we upgraded that radar, we started seeing objects on our radar displays that we weren't seeing just the day before. And that was our first indication that something wasn't quite right in that area.
Okay, these were new items, new technology. I don't pretend to know all of the vernacular. You're in the Navy and I'm just sitting here on TV. But with new technology can come glitches, right? You're working out the bumps. Did you think, oh, this is just a glitch or something?
Because you're seeing this.
not with your naked eye.
Correct. At this point, we had only seen it with our instruments and only the radar. And to your point, our first thought was this was likely some type of radar error or what we would call a false track. However, we eventually got close enough to these objects where some of our other sensors, one called the FLIR system, which is essentially just a camera, it was also detecting these objects at the same location that our radar was indicating.
So 2 sources of this
Object.
Remember these little guys from last week? Well, these so-called alien corpses have now undergone lab testing. Yep, that's right, they've had a full CT scan and X-rays. The bodies were presented to Congress in Mexico last week by a self-proclaimed UFO expert named Jaime Maussan. He claimed they had been discovered in Peru in 2017 and were 1,800 years old. His presentation went viral, with many calling the bodies aliens. The so-called corpses have been tested by Jose de Jesus Salce Benitez, reportedly a military doctor and forensic expert, who says the specimens each belong to a single skeleton and have not been manipulated. But the findings have been widely disputed by scientists. Last week, a NASA scientist responded to the news and urged the men to
make samples available to the world scientific community, and we'll see what's there.
Welcome to On the Record. Those of you who joined us last week were probably amazed, as I was, by some of the latest research in the field of UFOs. There is so much to talk about, however, we were unable to fit it all into one program, so my guest again this week is UFO researcher, former state Senate candidate, and award-winning pilot John Lear. Mr. Lear, nice to have you here again.
Always a pleasure to be here, George.
To begin with, we have this concept of the people from other planets as little green men. Are they green from what you know? Are they all the same, or we got different kinds of them?
George, there's at least 70 different species, and probably more. But yes, as odd as it sounds, there are little green men. That's not the ones we usually see, though. We see the little gray ones. They're about 4.5 feet tall. And we see the ones that are called the Nordics. They're about 7 feet tall, look like us, but they're invariably blonde hair and blue-eyed. They're one of the species that we have on ice. One of their crashes we recovered.
Obviously, with different species, they have different motives. I mean, are there good aliens and bad aliens from what you know?
Good aliens and bad aliens, and all kinds of ways and reasons for interacting with us.
Some of the reasons.
Why would they be?
Genetic experiments, trying to, there's a misconception here. People think that our space buddies would bring us, good things and teach us how to get rid of all our diseases. And, if you stop and think about it, that may not be the best thing, because if you had a society without any disease and everybody starts living 150 years, that creates a lot of problems. They would not meddle in that way.
You believe, in part, that the movies E.T.,
Close Encounters